Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Karina, and I'm coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, where I live with my partner, our two kitties, and the two horses that I'm going out to feed right now. Today is Friday, October 12th. It is about 7:40 a.m., and as you can see, the sun is just coming up. Quite a difference from early summertime sunrise. I am working today. I have been working a lot lately. I have a big project that hopefully will be finished by the end of this month, and then maybe I can return to my regular schedule, which I'm very much looking forward to because I am tired of working all these hours. And even when I was on vacation, if you saw my other videos, I had worked during my vacation a little bit as well. The horses are kind of also on vacation, because I haven't had time to work with them very much. And excuse me. I'm going to show you the pond and the creek. I had a bit of a coughing attack, so sorry for the disruption. I haven't done much with the horses, but I did work with them each in the round pen for a few minutes yesterday and the day before, and they both seemed to really enjoy it. Speaking of horses, there's Odin. Good morning. So I hope to do some of that this weekend. I anticipate working at least a few hours tomorrow. All that to say, I'm not sure when I am going to be able to talk about knitting, but I will do that as soon as I can. See you soon. Hey everyone. So I'm walking out to the barn again. It is Saturday morning at about 10 minutes to 8. Sun's coming up. You can really tell that fall has arrived. In the Pacific Northwest, I don't think we have such abrupt temperature changes for season, but what we do have seasonally is the light. It is very dark in the winter and very light in the summer, and then in the shoulder season, spring and fall, we just really have what I would consider like perfect light. Lost my train of thought. What I was going to say about that, about being in the Pacific Northwest and seasonal changes. Maybe I'll come back to it. I am working again for a few hours today. My goal is to be finished by noon so I can mess around with the horses a little bit, or at least Braggy. I worked with Odin for a little bit in the round pen, which he seemed to really enjoy. The tree farm trails are closed for their annual hunting season. It's closed for 2 weeks. It is supposed to start raining on Monday, and that's when we also get another kind of very seasonal pattern. We have very dry summers, and then we have about 9 months of rain, which, as my grandmother used to say, is better than having to shovel it. And those of you in the Midwest may or may not agree with that. Speaking of the boys, there they are, wondering where their breakfast is. I also need to mow the lawn one final time. And hopefully tomorrow I'm going to take the day off and then maybe work very little, hi handsomes, very little on Monday as well. I'm going to get to feeding these boys. Oh, gelding games. Kind of fun. Stinkers. Yeah, I'm coming up to feed you.
Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast, the knitting section of it. You'll probably notice that I have reverted back to very familiar technology, and that's using my iPhone for recording. I just not have had the mental capacity to work with my GoPro and the software that's required for editing. All that to say, this will be a minimally edited, maybe not edited at all, episode. I hope you enjoy it. I did work for a few hours this morning, got as much done on a project that I could get done. In fact, I think I got it done well within my 3-hour goal. It was a very long week this week. On Monday, I started at 6 a.m. and also had an evening meeting that I had to attend, so I got home around 8:15, 8:30. Tuesday, similar, started work at 6 a.m. and got home at 9:30 p.m. as it went a little long. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I started at 6 a.m. and I think I ended before 5 p.m. Normally, I work 10-hour days and then have Fridays off, but I just have this really big project that has an imminent deadline. In fact, I have 2 big projects that have imminent deadlines, and I've just been working, I guess, somewhat frantically to get them done. And I'm very close to finishing one of them. I have a lot of help on the other one, and that one's due more towards the end of the month. So I'm going to try to pace myself a little bit better next week. What it means, though, is that I will be working 5 8-hour days. Next, on Monday, is Indigenous Peoples Day in Washington State, and our agency observes that. So I will be checking in on email periodically because I am expecting a response from a state agency, which ironically does not recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. They do, but they celebrate it the day after Thanksgiving. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a little bit strange, the inconsistency on which days are observed and which ones are not. All that to say, I will be working a short day on Monday and then working 8 hours Tuesday through Friday. And I'm hoping by the end of the month or in November that I'll be able to get back to kind of my normal learning the GoPro and the software for editing and getting back to more of a normal, evenly paced schedule. And the main reason why I'm doing this is because this work schedule is because there is an end in sight. And if we get awarded the grants, it'll be fabulous. And I'll have to start working on those next year. So let's get started on the knitting, shall we? So what am I wearing? This is a raglan, very simple raglan sweater made out of, I think, just a single skein of Lions brand yarn. I think it's called Wool Ease. So I made it 3/4 length. It's a little bit cropped. I have high-waisted jeans on, and it's just a very simple, I think this is DK weight, and I think I used a US size 5. What I don't care for is that it doesn't have the short row shaping to bring the back of the neck up a little bit. And I have another sweater that I made like this as well. I think if I do this again, I will find a pattern that has short row shaping. And I have several examples. One of my favorite examples is a Telly B Knits pattern out of one of her books that I have on using self-striping yarn for projects other than socks. So, and I have knit a sweater, a colorwork sweater from that. Not using self-striping yarn, but instead using a different yarn. So let's talk about projects. So it is kind of like Halloween, MCAL. It's kind of MCAL month, really. I'm not doing the Stephen West shawl MCAL. I know many people are. Instead, I'm doing a Telly Beans Knits MCAL that is for a cowl. So I am behind. I am going to share my progress. If you are working on this and are behind, feel free to skip this part. I will give you fair warning of when to close your eyes, and I won't describe the pattern. I am just going to describe the different sections. So 1, 2, 3. Close your eyes because I'm going to show it. So here it is. This is where it started. This was day 1. This was one of my favorite sections. This was day 2. And these sections are worked in the flat. Here is day 3. I don't know if you can kind of see the Halloween themes. I'm not going to name them out loud right now, just in case some of you are working on it. This was day 4. So this section here in the middle was fairly tedious, but I like the way it's turned out. And then there was the joining in the round piece of it. So the rest of it's kind of knit in garter, as you can see, and then joining in the round. And so I am on day 5 here. And it's hard to tell what it is. And I'm not going to name what it is, but I hope you like it. So it's back in my lap. You can feel free to continue watching if you did close your eyes. So it is called what is it called? Last year it was the Haunted Cowl. I think it's Witch's Brew is what it's called. So I really enjoy it. I made the cowl, the Haunted Cowl last year. Really fun. I love the shape of the cowl. It's kind of a mini poncho, and this is not a surprise. So she is the Telly B Knits, Stephanie Lofton, the designer, is upfront about that. And so it kind of rests on your shoulder rather than kind of wrapping around. So this is the kind of shawl that I am going to knit forever in the future. And if you have seen my previous episodes where I'm showing my Flock of Flamingos cowl, it is the same idea. So I am not working on the Flock of Flamingos cowl because I'm trying to catch up with this the Witch's Brew M-Cowl. The only other project I really have spent some time on recently, so this segment's going to be really short, and then I'll just talk about what I'm up to for the rest of the afternoon. I do want to share the bag. The bag was made by my partner, Randy. He has an industrial sewing machine, and this is made out of scraps of leather that he got from work. He works for a cabinet company as a designer, and he draws plans. And he is also a very skilled sewist. And the handles were made from a belt that he had since high school, didn't wear because it's too narrow for his taste and usefulness. So I really love that he put it in this bag. It's perfect. And then the lining, it's lined with felt. So that's what I'm keeping the M-Cowl in. I have another M-Cowl that is from another designer. It's Cowl Octopus, and it has weekly clues. I have not cast that on. I was going to tell you who the designer is, but I probably did not. NellKindDesigns.com. I don't know if I'm going to have show notes. So if there's anything specific about this, anything that I mentioned, please let me know. I am just trying to get episodes out because I know some of you enjoy the content and you're working on your own projects while you're watching this content, and I really appreciate that. I'm not sure my show notes get a lot of attention. Sometimes it's just a matter of record keeping for me. But if there is anything specific that I mentioned, feel free to reach out. My email address and Instagram account are both not linked because I don't have show notes. So my Instagram account is CMEQNOMAD. That is CMEQNOMAD, and that is how that works. Or you can look at a previous episode that does have show notes and get my contact information there. Sorry, I don't mean to make this complicated. Maybe that's how I will edit. I will put my contact information at the end of this. So thank you for your patience. The other thing that I've been working on is in this bag. This is a bag it's a drawstring bag made by my mom. The fabric you can see our cherries. She bought this fabric last year in Door County, Wisconsin, near, no, we were in Sturgeon Bay. And Door County, if you're not aware, is famous for its cherries, and they are quite good, lots of varieties. And I am doing the Bakery Bears Sockoween. I'm not sure if this is a patron only knit along, but the pattern was free for patrons, and it's Kay Jones Incantation Socks. So I am using this yarn. This is a Harry Potter colorway from Freckled Whimsy. And this is where, how far I have got so far. So I'm gonna get strings out of the way so I can show it to you. There's still strings. Oh, that's my stitch marker. So it was 18 rounds of 1x1 ribbing. And then the pattern repeat is really one stripe each. It's 4 rows. So pretty fun. And I typically do this as my evening knitting. The other projects that you have seen in previous episodes, the sweater, that's on hold. The Flock of Flamingos cowl is on hold. Randy's Fingerless Mitts, Chili Podsters is also on hold. And what else do I have on the knee? I feel like, oh, I have a tank top I've been working on too. That's a fairly complex pattern, and that is also on hold. I imagine that will be on hold until probably next spring, because I have plenty of other projects to work on. And I have a couple projects in mind for my mom too. So Mom, if you're listening, I'm not going to talk about them. What else is going on? So it's a beautiful fall day. I'm planning on, I have some laundry going. I am looking outside right now, in case you're wondering. I am planning to ride Odin for a little bit in the round pen. He really needs some exercise. He gained some weight while I was gone. Part of that, I think, is just that I kind of restrict their where they can go out in the pasture, just to keep it easier for the my horse sitter, so that she doesn't have to wander out to the pasture and keep track of them. Although she was super great. She said she checked the fences a couple times just to make sure they were staying in where they belonged. So I appreciate that. She's definitely invaluable for assistance on this. I'm also going to mow the lawn because I think tomorrow is our last nice day for a while. And then we really enter into fall weather, which is pretty rainy this time of year. October can be quite nice, like it has been, and then November we really get into the rain. So get one final lawn mowing done, and so kind of settle in for fall. I'm planning on doing just a little more round pen work with both horses, just doing fundamentals. I've been following Ryan Rose Horsemanship on YouTube, so thank you to the viewer who recommended him. He is great. I really appreciate his approach and have really enjoyed his journey with his Mustang, which I believe most of that footage is available only to patrons. But I get high value for the content, just like I do for the Bakery Bears. And I was just thinking of some other things that I usually talk about. I usually talk about gardening. I just haven't done any. I would like to plant some kale and spinach in some pots that I have on the porch. And other than that, I just really need to harvest greens and carrots out of pots and kind of refresh those pots for any type of winter type growing, which, you know, like I said in my earlier, we just don't get much light here in the winter, especially December. I mean, we're down to 8 hours of light a day, and it's often cloudy, so it's very gray. And I think the other thing is I will plant garlic. My brother-in-law grows fabulous garlic, and he spends a great deal of time cleaning it. So I shipped myself back about 20 really beautiful bulbs of garlic from Wisconsin. and we've started eating it. It is delicious, and I saved some of the bulbs for planting. So that's all I have. I kind of expect to do that in about a month's time. That was kind of a backward statement. I said, that's all I have. And then I started talking about when I was going to plant garlic. So that is all I have. Have a great week. I hope to catch up with you next week sometime. Probably not Friday since I'm working, although my trainer will be back in town by then. And maybe I'll have an update on trailer training Braggie if I get to do another episode next Saturday. All right, take care.